We're quiet now.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Good morning again. Good morning to those of you who are here in person and to those of you who join us by live stream. In this space, we begin our time together by choosing songs from the hymnal. And for those of you who are joining by live stream, you are certainly welcome to sing along, but you probably don't have a hymnal, I'm sorry. But you might also want to take a minute to set up a sacred space. Get some toast and coffee for your communion, which comes a little bit later. Get a candle, maybe some water, and like I said, set up a sacred space of your own. And in this space, we will sing songs of your choosing.
584.
584.
1 and 4.
Verses 1 and 4. Oh yes, good way to start us. Start. Not to put pressure on the rest. Yours will be great too.
73.
7-3.
Because it's so short, can we do 1, 4, and 5?
Oh, always pushing the limits. And blessed are the flexible. I am the one who said that, right? Oh, enter, rejoice, and come in. This is a good one. Another hand clapper. Well, depending on how Jan plays it.
You said what's the question?
I said it's another hand clapper, depending on how you play it. Yay, well done.
And we have time for one more, and then we'll move to our welcome.
Bob has one.
Oh, that's Connie's arm. On Bob's behalf.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna suggest a traditional one,
Okay.
Holy, 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 because that's one of my favorites from my old days, and, so what page is that on?
Oh, holy, holy, holy.
I'm sure it's up in the beginning somewhere.
Number 277, because this is a UCC hymnal.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
And let's see, how many verses?
Whatever you decide.
What page did I say?
277.
Okay. That's why we stick together. Let's do 1 and 3. Good choice, Connie. Also one of my favorites. Please join me in the welcome. Welcome to the United Church. We are a peace and justice community, a movement towards wholeness in a fragmented world. Together we create a strong sense of belonging, a safe place to flourish, and opportunities to grow in our own way and in our own time. And we'll take a moment for social justice.
Good morning. I have 2 announcements. The first is that this coming Saturday which is the 28th, is the next No Kings March here in St. Augustine. It is from 9:30 to 11:30, and people meet down at the fort. And I know there are other marches in Palm Coast and various other places. So where did Jan go? Oh, there.
Where else would I go?
Okay, yeah, tell us what time.
One downtown Flagler Beach at the intersection of A1A and Route 100 from 9:30 to 10:30. And then 2 simultaneous rallies, one at Target and Route 100, Moody Boulevard from 11 to 1. And then one at Palm Coast Parkway and Old Kings Road from 11 to 1. So there are 3 in the Palm Coast area.
Okay. And then after that, the same day, Saturday, March 28th, from 2 to 4 here at the church, we're showing a film called The Third Harmony. It's a film about the principles of nonviolence and why that might be especially important to us today. Show the film, and then we will have a discussion afterwards. So I hope you'll join us. And there are flyers out on the table about this film, so pick one up.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And good morning to anybody, folks that are online with us. Welcome, glad you're here. As I was preparing this action yesterday, I chose to dedicate it to displaced families in Sudan, because this is an action about hunger, and what's happening there is really probably one of the worst experiences of widespread hunger and starvation in the world. And it's been ongoing for a long time. So this is dedicated to them. And then also I chose to do this action in honor of Senator Paul Simon. And if you look on the back of this, you'll see a picture of him there. He was the man from Illinois, a senator, and he always wore a bow tie. And he and his brother were both active in anti-hunger work back in the 80s and 90s. And his brother started Bread for the World. And Bread for the World is a source for this action. So here we go. So this is going to our members of Congress, and it goes to what Jesus said when all the people were hungry, and the disciples came to him and he said, "Send those hungry crowds away." And Jesus, of course, responded and said, "No, you feed them. They not send them away, you feed them." And so this is about when Congress and the administration told people to go away, people who were hungry. And that happened last year when they made SNAP inaccessible for millions of Americans. And it happened last year when they gutted international food assistance from this country. And we were the major player in food assistance in the world. So that has had a huge impact. And so this is asking our members of Congress to help end hunger at home and overseas by strengthening SNAP and WIC and fully funding the food programs, the international food programs, and having a strong bipartisan farm bill. And then asking them to prioritize hunger as a part of what they do. So on the back side of this, take a look. I thought this was really neat, and it's why I did the dedications yesterday. This is from Americans of Conscience Checklist, and they are so good about helping us who are involved in doing this kind of work be able to sustain ourselves, to do it with intentionality, with real sense of purpose. And really, I experience this as actually getting into the holy of the process of doing advocacy. That was my experience yesterday. So this is about, before you do an action, ask yourself, who first taught me that contributing to others mattered? And then asking, who in my life, past, present, future, or in the world, would I like to dedicate this action to? And then pick up the phone and call your members of Congress. Take the time to center with that. And I found when I did that yesterday, there was a grounding about that. So I wanted to pass that on to you. Sometimes we have, oh, that's really good news and really good news there. I think the good news here is there are really good ways to keep ourselves grounded and to experience what we do for social action in a way that opens us up to the Spirit of God within. Yeah.
Thank you, Warren. Let's bring in the light of Christ. I miss the kids. No kids here today. I'll make the sacred sound for them. So. So those who would normally be at the kitchen table are here with us in this space, which is a gift in many ways. This is the fifth Sunday of Lent, with Lent being a 40-day season which leads to the resurrection of Easter. Next Sunday is what is commonly referred to as Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday is followed by Holy Week. Then comes Easter, and that's followed by the season of Easter. Our series, Christ, Paradox, Prayer, and Poetry, is centered in the Palm Sunday and Holy Week readings. These readings have led us into and through Jerusalem with Jesus asking two questions. Who or what is Christ? And is this the path of love? This Sunday we begin with the path of love. And so I invite us to prepare ourselves with the hands of Christ Sophia. Every week we shared a different Christ based on feedback. Christ Sophia is our favorite so far. And to me, she has the hands of nonviolence. No, I'm not going to participate. Yes, you are human, and we are together in this. So if you'd like to use the hands as part of your centering, you're certainly invited to. Take a few deep breaths. Full exhales. Relax your shoulders. Relax your forehead. Stretch your toes. Stretch your hands. Inhale. Exhale. Imagine the path of love. What does the path of love look like to you? Consider the words of this poem by Rosemary Latola Tromer, which is titled, Is This the Path of Love? Desperate for shade, I plant a sapling, bring it water. Both hands plunge into the love poem. Now they are handcuffed there. Well, what if I can't do enough, I said. And love said, what if you don't try? I invite you to consider breathing deeply, praying silently, considering the poetry. It's on the screen if you want to look at it while we listen to the music. Mark 2. Please join me in singing with every woman in the world. Young and old, each generation, held their hands out in the name of love. There would be no more war. Every woman in the world had a mindset on freedom. Every woman in the world made the sweet dream of peace. Every woman, every young and old, each generation held their hands out in the name of love. There would be no more war. There, next verse. I made the slideshow today. Can you talk? Okay, let's sing one more verse. Every man in the world had his mind set on freedom. Every man in the world made a sweet dream of peace. Every man, every nation, young and old, each generation, held his hands out in the name of love. There would be no more war.
This is the sacred story, the peace table, a story book Bible, and it's about Jesus washes feet from John 13, 1 through 15. Jesus knew that he was going to die when he was in Jerusalem. As he thought about leaving this world, he was reminded how much he loved his disciples. He would love them until the very end. So that night during dinner with his disciples, Jesus got down from the table. He took off his outer robes and tied a towel around his waist. He poured water into the basin and began to wash his disciples' feet and dry them with the towel. The disciples looked back and forth. Why was he doing this? This was a servant's job. Jesus knelt before Simon Peter and said, "Lord, are you really going to wash my feet?" Jesus nodded, saying, "Right now, you don't understand what I'm doing, but later you will." Peter resisted. "You will never wash my feet," he said. "I must wash your feet for you to belong to me," he said. Now Peter understood. "Then wash my feet and hands and head," he said eagerly. But Jesus said, "A person who is bathed does not need to be washed again. Except for the feet, you are clean, although not everyone at this table is." Jesus said this because he knew that Judas was going to betray him. After washing everyone's feet, he put back on his robes and came back to the table. "Do you understand what I have done?" Jesus asked. "You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right. That is what I am. I've set an example as your teacher. I have washed your feet. Now do as I have done and wash each other's feet." Continuation of the sacred story. Peace I leave with you, from John 13:33 through 15 and 19. After Jesus washed his disciples' feet and they finished dinner, Jesus said to them, "I will only be with you a little while, just a little longer. Love one another just like I have loved you. People will know you are my disciples if you love each other. Don't let your heart be troubled or worried. I'm going to prepare a place for you with God. You know the way to the place I am going." Thomas said, "We don't know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. By knowing me, you know God. After I leave, God will send the Spirit to comfort you and be with you forever. The Spirit will teach you and remind you of all I've said. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. You need not be afraid. Rest in the great love I have for you. Let it bring joy to your hearts. Love one another just as I have loved you. You are not my servants. You are my friends. I shared everything I have heard from God with you. Other people may hate you, but I chose you, and I love you.
Thank you, Carol, for reading in a pinch. Thank you, David, for running the slideshow. Michelle, for finding David to run the slideshow. Alfie, for finding Carol to do the reading. George, for lighting the candle. Takes a village to create worship that is meaningful and sensory rich. Thank you, Joan, for placing items on the table to remind us of the foot washing. Confession of this woman who stands up in front of you and tries not to preach. I've never understood the foot washing, so I'm not going to talk about that. Neither am I going to talk about the fact that these stories took place while Jesus and the disciples were sharing an evening meal, which the other three Gospels refer to as the Last Supper. The Gospel of John doesn't call it that. Neither does John offer words of institution, and by words of institution, I mean equating the bread with the body and the cup with blood. Neither are there instructions in John's Gospel to eat, drink, and remember. I would like to lift that up and not dwell on it. Another thing I'd like to lift up is the line that really stands out to me. When Jesus says, I no longer call you servants, I call you friends. I wonder how churches might be different if they were immersed in a theology of friendship rather than servanthood, shepherds, disciples. Theology of friendship. Perhaps we should do some dabbling in that. That's called foreshadowing. What I really do want to dwell on are the palms. And as I mentioned earlier, during the season of Lent, we have been journeying with Jesus through Jerusalem. We began this journey like on February 22nd. Seems like eons ago, doesn't it? But we began by reading the Bible story, which is traditionally read on Palm Sunday. Thank you, Alfie, for bringing in the poems. Thank you, George and Joan and the community of advisors who said they look good there. Is everyone here familiar with Palm Sunday? It's the Sunday before Easter. Per AI, Palm Sunday commemorates Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem and marks the start of Holy Week. Palm Sunday symbolizes victory, humility, and hope as crowds waved palms and shouted Hosanna, recognizing Jesus as King before his crucifixion and resurrection. The significance of Palm Sunday, according to AI, is balancing this joyous celebration with foreshadowing Jesus' sacrifice. Preparing believers for Easter by reflecting on his humble mission as a king of peace, not conquest, who brings salvation. That's a pretty good synopsis. You know, AI writes to please us, right? Up to this point, we've been sharing stories from the Gospels of Mark and Luke, and that includes the story that we read about Palm Sunday. Today's reading came from the Gospel of John, and in John's Gospel, the story is told differently. So I'm going to share a portion of Alan Dwight Callahan's commentary on John's Gospel, which is published in True to Our Native Land, an African American New Testament commentary. And we're beginning with what Callahan writes about Palm Sunday. He says, Jesus arrives in Jerusalem a week before the Passover. This is when merchants and money changers and priests are already busy attending to the rush of pilgrims that clog the city. A cheering crowd waving palm fronds welcomes Jesus as he enters Jerusalem. None of the other gospel writers tell us that. Matthew tells us that the people cut branches from trees and spread them on the road. Mark tells us that people cut branches out of the fields and spread them along the road. Luke's gospel does not even mention palm branches. In Luke's gospel, people laid cloaks on the roads. But the Gospel of John tells us what the other Gospels do not, that people greeted Jesus waving palm branches. And they waved them high, aloft, in celebration of his entry into Jerusalem. The palm frond was an ancient symbol of liberation. The Israelites had waved palms 2 centuries before, as victorious troops returned to Jerusalem, having repelled their enemies. Sigh. Such a long, sad history of war. Later, after the crucifixion of Jesus, there were 2 revolts against Rome. Both of these revolts were commemorated with a minting of coins that had palm on one side, and on the other side, it said the liberation of Israel. Jesus was being greeted as a royal liberator. The plot to kill Jesus was hatched in reaction. I was thinking about those palms like they were a flag of sorts. I'm wondering, what flag would we hold up with a similar message? I don't know if you've ever thought about the palm branches that way or not, as a flag. Something's happening here. Something different's taking place. And the plot to kill Jesus was hatched in reaction. The Gospel of John, again according to Callahan, presents Jesus' popularity as a political problem. The death that he was to die was a consequence of his being exalted. Callahan then goes on to quote Fred Hampton, a leader of the Black Panther Party who was assassinated in 1969 by the police in Chicago. Hampton said, "I'm going to die for the people because I live for the people." And because he lived for the people, Jesus must die for the people. Which brings us back to the question, is this the path of love? I'd like to return to the sacred story for just a moment. After washing everyone's feet, Jesus put back on his robes, came back to the table and said, "Do you understand what I've done? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right. That is what I am. I have set an example as your teacher. Now do as I have done." The story continues that after they had finished dinner, Jesus said to them, "I'm only going to be with you a little while longer. Love one another, just like I love you." Once again, Jesus is saying, "Do as I have done." Callahan refers to those parts of the story as beatitudes. Blessed are those who put into practice what they have learned. And the blessedness comes not because of what one knows or what one thinks they know, but because of what they have done. He goes on to write that the love of Jesus cannot be revealed in the world without being endangered by those who do not know the love. The love of Jesus cannot be revealed in the world without being endangered. He also says that the love of Jesus cannot be revealed in the world without falling prey to betrayal. Then he defines this love as showing concrete concern for one another. Love is showing concrete concern for neighbors, strangers, friends, enemies. And let us not forget ourselves. Showing concrete concern is what it means to love. It is strong and it is not fragile. That it was continuous. And to quote Rosemary Tola Tromer, once our hands are in their handcuffed. It also reminds me of Elia Dadio's definition of Christ, which we shared the first Sunday that we got together. She writes, well, this is my interpretation, not a direct quote. Christ is a unifying energy which not only draws us together, but binds us together and makes us whole. The unifying energy is the love of God. She goes on to write, the fullness of God's love is revealed in the actions of Jesus. What happened to Jesus must happen to us. Yikes. Is that the path of love? Do I want to be handcuffed there? Are we handcuffed there? Let's change the subject. Let's tell a different love story. Even though I know you won't forget that one. Let's talk about last week's story. The story we read last week is commonly referred to as the widow's mite. Remember it? According to the authors in Mark and Luke's gospel, Jesus and the disciples are sitting in the treasury watching people bring in their offerings. And in comes this poor widow who drops in her last 2 pennies, and Jesus says to the disciples, that poor widowed woman, she's given more than anyone because she gave everything. In this version of the story, that poor widowed woman is an object. That is very loving. So we wondered what the story might sound like from her perspective. How would she tell her own story? Would she call herself a poor widowed woman? Would her version of events be different? The invitation was extended for each of you to rewrite the story from her perspective. Susan Buse came up with 3 fabulous possibilities. She's going to share one.
This is called the gift of love. The bustling temple crowd was jostling her, but she wasn't concerned she'd be the victim of a pickpocket or a thief. She had so little. She really wasn't even fair game. They'll look for a better target than she. Just yesterday, she heard the new prophets speak, heard word of an everlasting life beyond this one, a just life, an honorable life, with dignity and equality and above all, great love. So she had every intention of being a part of building this magnificent temple to that love. She didn't care that it might only buy a tiny portion of a back door, a brick or two, or a piece of colored window glass. It was important to be a part of it, any part. To know that I had a hand in building it, she thought. Her heart burst at the thought of it. As she carefully wound her way through the temple of women and the 13 shofar to the very last, the one where her coins would mean the most. Men of great fortune and means, proudly or not, were placing their large donations to this effort out for all to see. But they had not heard him. They did not share in the knowledge of the beloved community of mutual devotion that will be for all those who make their gift out of love.
There's copies of a poem up here, and I'll email all three of them out again this Thursday. Thank you, Susan, for sharing. And it is at this point in the service when we once again get up and move about this space. You're invited to bring forward your offerings and gifts, lead your prayer requests, light another candle, touch the water, sound the gong, share the bread of life, which, by the way, is gluten-free. After Jesus had blessed what was broken and shared it with everyone, he lifted the cup saying, this cup is a reminder that we are called to be a certain kind of people. People who love. I invite you to come. Well, first I need to know who's serving.
Caroline.
Okay. So once we have George and Carol set up, then you're invited to come for all things. We'll be ready. Cup of love, bread of life.
like walking around this table and seeing.
Yes, I know.
Sometimes it's hard to just walk past and not do the other way. I said, it's I'm gonna tell you the story, but I first.
Our closing song is My Love Colors Outside the Lines, and this is your opportunity again to stand up, move around. There's instruments on the bench if you want one, or to stay seated. My love colors outside the line, exploring paths that you could ever find, and takes me into places where I've never been before. The world outside the line. My Lord, colors outside the line. The 20 blessings watered into wine, and takes me into places that I've never been before, and opens doors. The world outside the line. Never walk on water if we're not prepared to drown. Body and soul need a soaking from time to time. And we'll never move a great stone if we're not prepared to try and be alright. The world outside the mind. My soul lonely cold and fire, curtains uncommon. Walk beyond the boundaries where I've never been before. Yay! Because the kids aren't here with their symbols, right? You are invited into the closing circle. If you are not comfortable standing, we can bring the circle to you. Well, I'm gonna go behind so we can see everyone, so I can see everyone. Okay, Dick and Bonnie and Nancy. Come in the circle, not in the center of the circle. Well, I guess you could be in the center. This is your opportunity to share a word or thought or takeaway with one another. Then we'll move to announcements if there are any.
The palm branches as a ancient sign of liberation, that was very impressive. Very impressive.
Well, we'll thank Ellen Dwight Callahan for that.
I was struck with the word friends.
Yes.
You are my friend.
Yes.
And then you're talking about a church that is actually based on friendship.
Yes.
And then I thought, you know what, the Quakers actually call themselves a Society of Friends.
Yes.
I was thinking about handcuffed. And I was thinking how sometimes we make commitments out of love that are difficult and that we are in ways handcuffed.
Yes. Yes.
We're leaving this week. It's been great being with you.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
And you also are leaving,
I'll be
Nancy.
leaving on Wednesday.
I want to welcome Paul. This is his first time, I believe, so thanks for joining us, Paul.
He drove in from Maine, just a short little jaunt. Glad you're here.
I was thinking about, somebody else's.
No, it's your turn, Nancy.
Go ahead, Erin. About, have I done enough? And you don't have.
Yes. Other takeaways?
I'm struck by looking at the widow from a different perspective and how we should all take a little more time to look at people and life through other people's perspectives.
I like the flag concept, never thought of it that way. When I looked at the pictorial view of the palms, and that illustration that was on the video, or not video, the slide, I thought of feather banners, and feather banners are those flags that are posted outside that say open, whatever. So when you asked us if you've ever thought of it and what would it be, I thought of a feather banner and I thought of all colors.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, but it was very, very colorful.
Yes. You want to let Tony back into the circle, Ellen, please? Yeah, I thought about the pride flag as one possible comparison. Anyone else?
I hope everybody is remembering 10:30 on Thursday to pray as a group.
10:30 a.m. We pray together, yes.
And Wednesday at noon, we continue with our Lenten studies. Bring your lunch, have a good time.
Other announcements, Ron?
Council after service, after chow.
After our second communion.
After second communion.
I'd like to share something. Like I mentioned to Don, it was about this time of the year in 2007, I first come to church.
The church in Pomona,
In
correct?
Corona Park. But the way I got there, the lady I was seeing, she goes, if you want to be part of my life, you have to do something I like to do. And she goes, what's that? Come to church. And that was on a Wednesday. I went to choir practice with her. My first church service, I was in the choir. And I'm still here.
That's right, 18 years later, you're still here, Alfie, and we are the better for it.
No, I
Joseph,
am by myself.
Joseph is having a 60th birthday on Wednesday.
Lordy, lordy, Joseph's turning 60 in 3 days. Do we sing? Yes, yes, of course. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joseph. Happy birthday to you. Joseph, we're glad you're here. You make a difference. Anything else? All right, let's share the benediction, which is on the screen. We are blessed, and we are blessings. We go in peace.
Yeah, well. Oh, I was there.